Are you a trainer struggling with programming? You're going to want to watch this video. Belt buckle trainer for over 20 years, teacher of trainers. This should be very easy and natural, but a lot of trainers struggle with it. The two biggest concerns we see at Show Up Fitness, trainers struggle with programming, they struggle with assessments. So let's help you better program and understanding the CCA plug and play, which is going to make your life a lot easier. Let's pretend like you have an average general population, 40-year young lady who comes in, 169 pounds. That's what we're weighing today in the United States for ladies. Our goal is fat loss. Let's have the typical goals. If a genie were to pop out of a lamp and give you one magical body part, what would it be? Keep it PC. Most of the ladies are going to want a smaller waist, flat abs, big booty, and nice toned arms. That's the vocabulary that your clients are going to use. It's okay to talk that same language. We need to know Spanish in order to talk English. Telling your client that they're an idiot because toning isn't a real thing isn't going to do much for you. Those are the people skills that are really important part of the assessment process. So they're going to come in. You need to understand the lens that they're looking through. They're used to social media, all the smoke and mirrors. They want to sweat. They want to feel the burn. We know as qualified trainers, you do not need to sweat. You do not need to chase the burn. But that's how you play the game. Your clients like new things, so show them new exercises. We know that the best thing for them when it comes to results is loading up that first core movement pattern. So when we break down the CCA, we can implement exercises that are not going to impact the optimal tension for that first exercise. Show your clients new exercises. Say their name 3 times. Get involved as the trainer. Learn something new. Those are all really important things, part of our career as a trainer to get them showing up. But without a doubt, number 1 is results. A close number 2, and maybe number 1, is if they're in pain, to get them out of pain. Those are the 3 goals that your clients are going to want. Look great naked. They're going to want to get out of pain. Performance related. All things that qualified trainers can help our clients with. So when my client comes in, let's call her Stacy. She wants to lose 10, 15 pounds. Listen, be empathetic. When I bring her out on the floor and we do a warm-up, I will start with some soft tissue mobilizations. If there was pain, we go over other videos. You can check those out with our certification for soft tissue and assessments. Do those first. Hit the 10 checkpoints in human movement: ankle, knee, hip, lumbar, thoracic, spine, shoulder, elbow, wrist, breathing mechanics. Don't overwhelm her. I see so many trainers at Equinox and Lifetime. First thing we do, bring them to the foam roller. Foam roll for 10 minutes. Do you think your client wants to waste 10 minutes foam rolling? I don't care how knowledgeable you are. Your lateral gastrocnemius is overactive. We got a foam roller, you're going to die. Yeah, some certifications teach you that, but you're better than that. And you understand your clients don't want to foam roll and stretch for 10 minutes. She wants to get out there and feel the pump. She wants to feel positive from the movement. That's where you come in. So check off those 10 checkpoints. Have her lead the way. What do you like to do? Did you play any sports in the past? What was your typical warm-up? Oh, I did this. Great, let's do that. And then you add value. Now it's time for you to mirror me. And you bring your ankle up, you bring your knee up, you go to the side, you shake your tushy, you get them to laugh. When your client smiles, the sales process at the end is so much easier because they're enjoying the process versus being a militant prick just yelling at them, rah, 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 you're right, I'm wrong, I'm right, you're wrong, whatever the hell it is. Your clients aren't going to buy into that. Make them smile, make them laugh. What is their goal? So you take the core movement patterns: a squat, a hinge, a unilateral, transitional, a push, a pull, and a press. What is your client's goal? That's going to be the first core movement pattern for this first circuit. So let's look at a squat. What is the lowest hanging fruit? If she's a beginner, not us, because we may be thinking back squat, Zercher squat, overhead squats, more complex exercises. Start with the lowest hanging fruit to build that confidence. Have them competent in the movement so you can overload it. Squat pattern here. Let's do a TRX row or a goblet. You choose. Into a push. We're going to do that on the barbell. Not on the ground, because at 170, a little too much, it's uncomfortable for her. You feel it's not an appropriate choice of an exercise. So you do a push-up on the barbell. or on a wall or on a bench, whatever you feel is appropriate. Let's do an isolation exercise. Let's do some planks. Make it fun. Do it with her. Get involved. You're going to do that for 3 rounds. So when you finish the plank, you come back into the squat. You add a little bit more weight. Change the tempo if you like. Go back into the push-up. 8 to 10 repetitions. Go back into the plank. 3 rounds. Now when you move to the next circuit, you've already done the squat. You've already done the push. So do the opposite or the next one. Our goal is more lower body. So do the next pattern, a hinge. So you're going to do a bridge into a pole. Let's do some cable rows into an isolation for the glutes, a band walk. Get her to feel it in her glutes. Same process. You're going to do the hinge into the pull, into the walk, back into the hinge, back into the pull, into the walk. Rest as much as needed for your client. I want them to be able to talk so we can go back into the next round. Rest until you can work, work until you can rest. So where you need to rest. 3 rounds there. Then we go into the last circuit. We've squatted. We've hinged. Now we're going to do a unilateral. Low-hanging fruit would be a step up. Everyone does walking lunges today. Those aren't easy. When was the last time Stacy grabbed a box of cookies doing a lunge? Very unlikely. So start with a step up. Maybe you need to do a step down by pushing down on the band. You will have some very deconditioned clients where that is the appropriate exercise selection. Start with the low-hanging fruit. Own the pattern, progress. We're going to do a press now. Since we did a push, we did a pull. Let's do a split stance dumbbell press or a landmine press or a banded press. Those are all low-hanging fruit pressing exercises. Military press, a lot of times we get an anterior tilt at the pelvis. We get a little rib flare and it makes the low back uncomfortable. The shoulders can't get to that overhead position. We should be able to get to 170, 180 degrees, but the average person can barely get to 150. All things that you know as a qualified trainer. That's why we have 3 certifications. Make sure to check them out to become qualified at this career, which you can turn your passion for because it's an amazing opportunity to help people. So you're going to do that press, the unilateral, the step up. And then we're going to end off on some cardio, some jumping jacks, some jump rope. 3 rounds there. Maybe you have 5-10 minutes left. You can stretch. You can do cardio. Maybe you want to do a little game. Do a wall sit, throw in the ball, some rotational stuff. Ask them, what's something that you want to do for this last 5 minutes? Maybe they really want to learn how to use the ski erg, or they want to get better at jump roping, or I saw an influencer do this exercise. What are your thoughts? Educate them there. Get them to sweat. Get their heart rate up there. But we don't smoke them in the beginning because then they won't be able to get through the whole entire workout. This would take exactly 1 hour. And that's the beauty of the plug and play. This would be specific for a girl because we focus more on lower body. Check out our other videos for guys because we focus more on the pushing and pulling because we want to focus on that arm farm and get that 6-pack abs. You make it specific to your client. And the beauty of this is if you're working at an Equinox or Lifetime or a corporate gym and you can't do that squat exercise that you chose, well, you can do the hinge. You could do the unilateral. You would just bring that up there. So it allows for you to think on the fly, which so many trainers struggle with. When you go through an interview process, trainers are spending 10, 15 minutes writing out a program. Not those that go through our certification. They can do it on the spot because that's what our final test is to become a qualified, certified personal trainer. If you want to become a qualified, certified personal trainer, check out my book. Volume 2 goes over the whole entire interview process, how to build a book of business, how to develop streams of revenue. All trainers should have at least 3 streams of revenue. You should have a physical therapist, a registered dietitian, doctors on your team. That's exactly what we teach you with the best certification in personal training. You just probably haven't heard of us. It's all about showing up.